So range of motion stretching exercises for Dr. Bob. We're going to start with his shoulder, keeping in a straight line, just bringing the arm overhead. You don't force it, you just take it to where it starts to feel tight. And then when you get to that tight point, you want to hold for a few seconds. And you want to repeat it at least 3 times. And Bob can say if it starts to hurt. Stretching is different than pain. So feeling a stretch is normal, but if it feels painful, you need to let us know. Okay, then you also want to bring it up in a sideways manner. Allow the arm to rotate as you come up. You end up in almost the same position. And again, we'll do it about 3 times. And Bob's being very good at staying relaxed. If he starts helping, it kind of makes it a little tougher. So just, ask if you feel like you're getting resistance to the movements, just ask him to relax. We're doing the left arm first because the motion is better. And then with the arm straight out from the shoulder, you want to roll the hand backward. Keeping the same upper arm position, roll forward. And you'll see when we do the right side, there's quite a difference on the right. Ideally, both arms will move about the same. The movement of the left arm would be what I consider normal for a man of his age, or my age. Elbow straightening and elbow bending, no limitation on this side at all. But you want to go all the way straight and all the way bent. And then you want to turn the hand so that the palm goes upward and downward. Again, on this side the motions are pretty normal. I'm not really moving him here, I'm just holding. And the control here is not on his hand, it's at his wrist. I'm not, what? You're interrupting the flow here, Bob. I did, about 3 times of each motion, each direction. That's going to be the same rule for all of the different movements. So then the wrist, back and forward. I'm holding in the palm of his hand, so I'm not stretching his fingers. I'm only stretching the wrist. But I do want to make sure the fingers go straight. And you can see it's just a little bit tight here. As I straighten his fingers, it bends his wrist a little bit. I want to get a little bit of stretch there. Again, you don't force it. Curl the fingers closed and open them all the way and curl them closed and open. The thumb goes across the palm and back out. Good, and that's pretty thorough. Pretty easy on the left arm. The right arm's a bit tougher because he has more restriction here. We'll start with the same plan. Start with shoulder coming just straight up along his side. You can see he goes a little less than halfway. And I'm going to hold a little bit longer because it's a little bit tighter. Does that hurt? You feel it stretch. Okay, and that's the right response. Yeah, that's where the tightness comes from, the back side of the shoulder. Okay, then we're going to do that up to the side, allowing it to rotate as it comes. Hurting? You look like you're at the dentist's office. Anticipation. So he's really pretty restricted on the right arm. His tone is higher, his muscle tone, muscle activity is higher on the right, so he has a harder time relaxing. Okay, but after a few repetitions, we've come up about 15 degrees higher than we were when we first started. And then we want to do that turning the arm back. This one can become painful. So you want to work within his tolerance. That's right, until his eyes bulge. Bob's pretty good about saying, but I do kind of look at his face and see if I see any grimacing or anything that indicates it's hurting. Try to relax. One thing that I find, not just with Dr. Bob, with lots of people, when you start to hit that anticipation point, you start to feel resistance because they subconsciously know if I go much further it's going to bother them. So I'm trying to keep the arm straight out from the shoulder as best I can, but because he's tight there, we're not starting in quite that same position that we did on the left side. Okay. And then elbow bending and straightening. He's a little bit restricted on that, on the straightening here. Bending is fine. When you do this, you'll feel a difference. I would suggest starting on the left side so you can feel what it should feel like. Because when you do the right side, you'll feel more inherent resistance because of its high muscle tone. Until he falls asleep in the chair, and then it relaxes. That's what? The advantage of old people? Well, you can just fall asleep anywhere? Okay, and then we'll do the palm up and palm down. He's pretty restricted. Again, I'm stabilizing at the elbow and I'm trying to turn his palm up. He's quite tight here. Again, the hold is at the wrist, not at the hand. Palm down, he's not really restricted. And I would suggest on those areas that are tight, you do the hold a little longer than 3 to 5 seconds. Hold it for 10, 15 seconds or so. And again, you want to repeat each motion about 3 times. It does not hurt to do more. And then wrist motions. Again, I'm going to hold in the palm of the hand, wrist back, and forward. Motion here is pretty good. And then finger straightening or extension. Trying to keep his wrist in a pretty midline or neutral position. And curl, which isn't a problem. Generally speaking, the tightness is the ability to straighten, not to bend. But Bob uses his hands quite a bit, so his hand motion on both sides is pretty good. And the thumb, relax, relax, let the thumb come out. There we go. If you feel resistance, just hold. Don't pull harder, just hold the tension you have, and he will relax. And that's all of it. You can wake up now.